I'm here today with Sotiris of SepticFlesh to talk about Modern Primitive, out May 20th on Nuclear Blast. How excited are you and the rest of the gang to see this album finally reach the light of day?
As you can guess, we are super excited because there was such a long time between this album and the previous, and there were so bad circumstances with the virus and everything. So now that we managed to pass all the difficulties, and we are really, of course, happy with the result, we are really excited to present it to you.
What was the inspiration musically and lyrically behind Modern Primitive?
Well, musically, all the members of the band contributes ideas, so each member has his own stuff that inspires him. However, you can say that all of us, as we were inside this historic situation, were influenced emotionally, and me also, as I'm in the helm of the lyrics, I was also influenced from the situation. There were so many strong emotions because just when we started recording the album, the whole situation began. And so there was a lot of uncertainty, a lot of negative emotions. And of course, this was a super important album for us because it is our first album with a Nuclear Blast. Mm-hmm. And so we had a lot of strong emotions, but we used all the emotions for the benefit of the album. I think this is the trick as an artist, to tap into your emotions and to transform all kinds of emotions into music, and to be able to touch you with your songs, the listener.
Did you use a little bit of the lyrics on this record almost as a way of getting something off of your chest, almost like therapy, if you will?
Yes, indeed. In any case, when I write lyrics for an album, I have some themes that are beyond the scope of time, and some other themes that are like a photo of my emotional state at the time that we record an album. So it's also, for me, when I listen to an album, it's like a time machine for me. I travel back to the state that I was at the time. But you know, there are various styles of lyrics that I use, not only one style. So also with this record, there are songs that are very connected with the timeline of the writing. For instance, Modern Primitives, the song, and A Dreadful News, and you know, there are quite a few songs that are connected with my emotions at the time. And on the other hand, there are songs that are telling stories that I had in my mind. I always have ideas and stories, and I just write them down when I have the inspiration. And when the time comes that I find that the story fits to a specific song, then I started working on these ideas. For instance, the songs Hierophant and Self-Eater, that form the story of salvation that I had in my mind. But of course, as you said, quite a few songs were literally kind of psychotherapy for me. And in any case, I think that an artist finds a way of treatment to his art.
Do you find that there is a correlation, a connection between the lyrics that you wrote that had to do with the experiences that you're going through and the lyrics that you wrote that were more of a storytelling aspect? Because I felt like they were not directly connected, but they kind of interconnected with one another. Do you see it that way as well?
Well, it's my intention. When I create lyrics for an album, and I have 80% of the picture, you can say, of the lyrics, and of course I have the whole picture of the songs. I make interconnections because then I try to find parts that can be utilized and make bridges between the songs. And I find it really interesting because in that way I'm helping the listener to dive into the album and not leave from this atmosphere, no matter the story that is told. And so this happened to all the albums of SepticFlesh, and also to this one.
Yeah, it's almost like you're creating not a concept album, but like a theme album. And that theme, it really is a glue that holds you into the record, because you want to see where it's going to take you next with every single track. So I really like that concept. I really like that idea. Now, how much of this album do you feel it's a continuation of all the great things, the phenomenal things, the intergalactic things that you guys did with Codex Omega?
Well, Codex Omega for us was a really difficult opponent to beat, because this was our opponent when we started recording the album. We wanted to beat Codex Omega, and we all felt that Codex Omega was really tough because it had so much inspiration, so much emotion, ideas. So it was, the point that we wanted to make another step, to go forwards. However, of course, it's a matter of how you digest your ideas, and there was a long time that passed from the creation of Codex of Omega, and that helped us to get outside of it. When we start creating an album, we don't have a specific, you can say, strategy. We don't say we want to create an album like Codex Omega, like Communion, like whatever. We just know, however, how things work better with our music, because our music is composed from different elements. We have a strong symphonic and ambient element, and we have also really heavy songs. So as we have worked so hard all those years and tried really everything, combinations and different styles of using those two different words together, we know now from day one that some ideas will not work in a specific way, but will work better in another way. So you can say that that helps us to focus better on the result. And for instance, what I mean, for instance, there are parts that a lot of times are composed with a guitar, for instance. But we know that if we play those parts with the guitar and with 100 different classical instruments, the result will be chaos. So we know that eventually we have to make the decision to give some parts only to the guitar and some parts only to the other instruments, because that works better for the result. And stuff like this are very important for the final result. And as we progress, the previous album, of course, was Codex Omega. We had the additional experience. So we started from that point, you can say, of experience. The next album will start from another point.
Yeah, from this point. You talked about Codex Omega being such a difficult record. I find that this album, it's perhaps not as simple or not as easy to put together, because there's a lot of moving pieces. So when it comes to SepticFlesh, a band that really has so many moving parts of their music. How challenging it is to put an album together, an album like Modern Primitive?
Well, it's really challenging because of the fact that, as I told from the beginning, we are many composers inside the band, and so you never know from the beginning the end. Each one of us may contribute something that the other could not have imagined. And that makes things also exciting, but also tricky, because we have the addition of elements and the change of elements all the time until we all feel satisfied. So it's not an easy task. It's not that, for instance, I present my ideas to the others and I say, those are my songs. No, everybody presents the ideas, and then there is a dialogue, you can say, and maybe someone has a different idea about the evolution of a song, or a different idea about how it will be presented. I can give you an example. When I created the last song now that is available for you, the song A Desert Throne, I had in my mind that the orchestration will be more oriental. But when Christos was involved with the orchestration, he had a different impulse to make it more epic, not so oriental, not using so many traditional instruments, ethnic instruments, and the result was really good. So you know, those kind of changes affect the outcome. Or for instance, when I get a song from the other guys created, and I have a melodic idea with for the clean vocals, that obviously also changes the situation of the song. And there are so many different elements on SepticFlesh to consider, because we have all kinds of vocals. We have full choirs, female, male, children. We have
orchestra,
a lot orchestra, full orchestra, all the sections of the orchestra, and we have some ethnic instruments. So there are so many different options to consider. But so it's a really difficult situation.
Do you feel like the reason why it works so well is because of the relationship that you guys have? Like the growth that you've had together as a band allows you to kind of say to the next guy, well, you know what, I think we should change this here, without anybody getting upset about anything. It's all about the music in the end. Does that come from the time you guys have spent together? Yes,
and also you can say that the music from one point and after becomes a connection to all of us. So sometimes I'm really surprised to see, for example, Seth, to create a melody that this melody could easily be created by me, but it's not. You know, we are so much into the general music of SepticFlesh that you know, it's really crazy to see this happening. All the members can create something that has some part from the other members, of course, from his point of view. But this is really important, and this is, as you said, a matter of this really long collaboration between us. Of course, we don't agree all the time. We have sometimes tense situations because we are passionate with creation of music. But at the end of the day, we are a solid unit, and you know, it's the band is above the ego of the members. How difficult, with all these moving pieces, how difficult
it is for you to find the right spot for you to insert those clean vocals. Because on this album, I thought they created such interesting dynamics. It helps the music and it helps the overall vocal line. So is it a difficult process for you to find that perfect spot to get in there?
Well, at first, when I had in my disposal the raw ideas of everybody, I could not find spots for my vocals, really. And I said, maybe I don't put so many clean vocals in this one, because it's not something that we ought to do all the time. We do it when we feel that they are needed, you know. And at first I could not find spots because there were so many different melodies from orchestra, from everything. The 12-string clean guitars, and at first I had not the idea, you can say, the inspiration, but mainly you can say also Seth insisted and pushed me. It's this kind of camaraderie, you can say. And he knew that eventually some songs demanded. He said to me, for instance, that modern primitives, you must find something. It's close to your vocals. You must find something. And, I just pushed myself. Sometimes I was really frustrated and unhappy. And again, tried different ideas. And then, I left some period of time to clean my mind, because when you are deep inside this situation, it's difficult to be objective. Mm-hmm. And when I started to relax, and I felt less pressure, you can say, then a lot of ideas just pumped up from my head, and it was a kind of when you realize that there is a turn and everything is going well, then you are boosted with positive emotions and positivity. And then I had so many ideas. It was on the other side of the river. And then we just had to decide which idea was best,
Everybody in this band, wears so many different hats. Which one are you more comfortable with?
But if you to create lyrics or music or whatever, what do you mean?
Yeah, like you do so many things. The lyrics, the vocals, guitars. Like everybody in this band doesn't have just one role. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yes.
So with all the roles that you have, which one do you enjoy the most?
I enjoy when the album is finished. It's a really big burden, especially also to play the guitars, to record the guitars, because I have also to, when I record the guitars, to be in the shoes of the composer of the guitars, because we have a completely different style of riffing, or the guys in the band. For instance, Seth is always more, you can say, under the emotion of the part, and wants not to be so sharp. On the other hand, Cream is providing, because he's also the drummer, more modern riffing type of riffs. Also, I'm in the middle, and I have a specific specialty on the melodies of the guitars. And so I try, when I record, I try to change my mind, to put another program to my mind and change the style of the play of the guitar accordingly. And this is something really strange. And you can say that I feel more relieved when I sing the songs, because a lot of work has been already done, and my burden is less, because at the time that I sing, The guitars are done, no worries in my mind. The lyrics are done, no worries in my mind. So it's like putting the how you say, in the cake, the top of the cake,
the cherry on
the
top
cherry
of
in the cake. So I'm more relaxed, and I enjoy it more because it's also my last, you can say, contribution. And so it's like a festivity, like a celebration for me. It's like I'm imagining that you know, this is the final painting, and you know, you can say that this is the part that I find more
relaxing
and pleasing, because all the time before it's really frustrating.
It's the heavy load. The heavy work comes
it's
before.
A really heavy load, yes.
Yeah. One last question for you. You guys are phenomenal at working with the real orchestra, adult choirs, children's choirs. When you add that to the whole essence of SepticFlesh, how important it is for you guys to have that sense of reality, not working with a computer, not working with a keyboard, but with real choirs, real people, real instruments.
Yes, it's really important for us. We could easily use samples or whatever, but it's not the same, because we believe in humanity, in the organic sound, and that's why gradually we incorporate to our sound also some ethnic instruments with less distortion, because we want to have something that is more natural, you can say, to our sound. And also it's more challenging to use human vocals, choirs and stuff like that, because they are not perfect. This imperfection is something that at the last day is something good, because it provides emotion and connection. It's you feel more connected when a human sings something rather than push you know, the synth and have a dead choir or and etc. You know.
Yeah, it gives it more of a human touch to the music. I totally
exactly.
Sotiris, thank you very much for taking the time today. An absolute pleasure speaking to you. All the best to you and the guys with this incredible release, Modern Primitive, out May 20th on Nuclear Blast. Welcome. I'm not from Nuclear Blast, but welcome to the Nuclear Blast family on behalf of the people at Nuclear Blast. And I hope to see you guys on the road very soon.
Yes. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thanks for your support. Thanks for your good words. And, you know, it's time for celebration next month.
I agree. All the best, man. Take care.
Thanks. Take care.